Dean and Susie Spanos are finally selling their home, meaning that's it. The Chargers are out of here. I meant as if you didn't know that. But what I mean by that is this, is that so are the Spanoses. The Chargers left 4 years ago. It's been 4 years now, hasn't it? 3. Okay. So the Chargers left 3+ years ago. And the Spanoses, who were still living in this home, in fact, at certain times, this home was being protected by San Diego police because there were people driving by and throwing eggs and toilet paper. And I don't even know. Maybe they were doing some other stuff, But these folks have finally now, houses for sale. They're gone. They're out of here. It's now kind of over, And for me, it's like, okay, good riddance. Like you as the owner of this franchise, which was supposed to be an important civic asset, you as billionaires in this town who would place your father's name on buildings at the University of California, San Diego, because that's where you trained for so many years, that the UCSD athletic building is named after Alex Spanos. You had this, I always come back to the blood drive. I know it's hokey and small town minded, but I'm just telling you that for 30+ years, the Chargers led the way with the San Diego Blood Bank to make sure that there was a proper amount of blood available for people, particularly during the holidays, et cetera. You know the story if you've followed it. But these guys are finally selling their house. Alex, can you share your screen? Let's take a small dive in now. By the way, I would love to be able to tell you that they're selling their house for $17.5 million because they owe Stan Kroenke money and they can't sell tickets and they can't sell PSLs. So it's like liquidate everything we've got. Okay, here goes. These are pictures that were published in the local paper. But here it is. Here's the backyard. Look at that. I mean, that's a beautiful shot of La Jolla. I wish we had a map so we could see exactly where it is. But I mean, look at this. Look at this house.
It's on an acre of land in La Jolla. That's why it's worth $18 million.
Dude, look at this thing. I mean, by the way, when you buy an $18 million house.
Look at the lack of trophies here.
Yeah.
Plenty of space.
Had to be a dick.
When you buy an $18 million house, just to be clear, just because not that I'm planning on one, although I'd love to, but it just hasn't happened quite yet.
This garage is bigger than most houses.
Dude, this garage is probably underground too. They probably pull down, and chances are when they pull down, they probably park one way, and there's like this electronic thing that turns your car around so that your car is pointed out the other way. When you buy a $17.5 million home, you're probably even buying it completely furnished, totally decked out. You're like, yeah, I'm moving in. Take your clothes, take your toothbrush, and get out. Otherwise, couches, TVs, plates and silverware and everything, just leave it all and get out. And that is highly likely what is happening for whoever is going to buy this Spanos mansion in La Jolla. But what it really, to me, indicates is, this is it. It's gone. It's over. It's not coming back. It's time for everybody, even myself, to realize, forget it. In fact, just to this point, I'll jump in. You guys should jump in, but I got this message from a gentleman I think it was on Facebook Messenger. And he had this like whole grandiose idea of how to get the NFL to bring the Chargers back. And most of that was surrounding finding a way to push the Spanoses out of their ownership, right? And so he kind of hits me up and, hey, we got to do this and we can do this, and we can pull this thing off. And I actually wrote him back and I said, hey, man, you know what? I really appreciate your passion for this. I just am not right now willing to take on this crusade. I'm just not. He wrote me. He wrote this nice letter. It was on Instagram direct message. Mr. Kaplan, a moment of your time. I had a dream last night, a dream in which our Chargers came back home with the casinos and a new owner financing and building a modern stadium in San Diego County, exact location unknown. At this time in my dream, the casinos are making bank with sports gambling. Why not help build a new stadium? And this cannot happen because of one family, the Spanoses. He says, I need you and a strong voice to help me. And here's my pitch. And he goes through this whole pitch about how we need to expand the story and we need to get more prominent people involved and we need to pressure the Spanoses to sell. And he goes back into the history of the Spanos family and selling bologna sandwiches to vagrant workers and blah, blah, blah. He's like, and if you have the same integrity to fight to get our team back, let's get this story out as much as we can get it out. This team needs a new owner, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, brother, listen to me. Anybody who's done any homework knows about the Spanos family, how their money was originally made. It's not news, okay? And he's like, we just need public scrutiny and we need to pressure the NFL to make the Spanos sell. And I wrote back to this gentleman and I tried to be as polite as possible. And I said, listen, I wish you all the best. But this is not a crusade I'm willing to lead at this time. I got too much stuff going on in my personal and business life. Would love to get the Chargers back, but we still don't have a proper facility. San Diego State Stadium, if built, will not be able to expand. And I said to him, I said, if you pick up steam with your crusade and you need some additional voices, get back to me. But imagine, this guy had a dream. The dream came to him in the middle of the night. We're going to get the Chargers back by pushing the Spanoses out. We're going to get a casino to help build this. And I need you to go do everything for me. And I was like, brother, as much as I would love to have the Chargers back in town, I am not crusading based on your dream. Okay? I don't know what red wine you drank. I don't know what edibles you may have taken from Tory Holistics. I don't know what was going on in your brain that night that you thought, A, you're going to pressure the Spanoses into selling, and B, you're going to get me to do all of this for you. Dude, this selling of the Spanos home, this is back to the beginning. It does indicate the end. It's over. They're gone. Their ownership is gone. They don't live here anymore. They want it out of this community. And they've moved up to Orange County. They're becoming part of the Orange County community where they live.
They live in Riverside County.
When did they move? I didn't even know that.
Article.
Oh, I didn't know that they had moved. I mean, I had known that they had been living in Orange County. Wherever it is that they've gone, they have left San Diego. They took their team, which we thought was ours. They moved it to LA. They've now taken their private residence where they raise their children. They've sold, or they are selling it. They're moving to wherever, Orange County, Riverside County, wherever's more convenient for them to get to their facility and then to this new stadium that Stan Kroenke built. They are no longer San Diegans.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for many people, they're happy to hear that. Good riddance, get out of town. But for me, it does, you want a crusade about bringing the Chargers back and getting the Spanoses to sell? Great, go for it. But the Spanos-led Chargers and the Spanoses of San Diego, they're gone.
This is why Dean Spanos and that Spanos family will own the Chargers forever. As far as net worth of NFL owners, they're what, bottom five? The Chargers are really their business, right? I don't think they're kind of like Mark Davis. That's what they have. Dean Spanos, as far as power in the NFL, is what, bottom three? Even being in LA, even being in the big market, he's still what, bought? He doesn't have that much power in the NFL. And look where he lives. This is why, like, you will never sell an NFL team unless you get forced out, because you can be the crappiest owner. You can be the brokest owner. You can have no power in the NFL, and you still have a 1 acre, $18 million pad in La Jolla, California. This is why, like, I get where this guy's passion's coming from. We got to get rid of the Spanos family. We got to do this. Unless Spanos drops a Sterling mixtape, he's not selling it, dude. And that's just the bottom line. And if you are an NFL owner, why the hell would you ever sell it? It makes no sense to me.
It is everything an appreciating asset. And by the way, to your point, Alex, yeah, you have a bomb mansion in La Jolla. And guess what else you have? A private jet.
Yep.
And a really kick-ass collection of Ferraris, and a series of country club memberships at the most exclusive clubs all around America. When you are an NFL owner, even if you're the brokest of NFL owners and you can't build your own stadium and you can't sell PSLs and you can't help finance the stadium because of your failure in the off-field business world in terms of the NFL, all of that, you still got this kind of place, private jet, Ferraris, country club memberships. You are
1% of population.
Not 1%. You're the 0.1% of the population. Browner, what do you say?
Two things. One, that man should have emailed Ice Cube, because I guarantee you right now, if he didn't email Ice Cube would have told him, yeah, we're going to get this motherfucker up out of here. One. Two, do you think that house will sell for less because Dean Spanos owns it? Because if that house is on the market, the chances of someone locally buying that house who understands the story behind that house isn't going to pay full price for that house. Some person from another country, probably Saudi Arabia or China, are going to buy that house, and then it'll be off, and no one will ever speak of it again. They won't throw anything at it. There won't be cops outside of it. It'll all be over. It'll all be washed under the bridge. If you want Spanos out of that seat as the owner of the Chargers in any way, shape, or form to get them back, you're going to have to find someone with popularity and money, because that's the only way you're going to squeeze them out. Ice Cube knows a ton of people. He knows a bunch of LA people. If you get Ice Cube and Magic Johnson to put their head together, they could probably get him out.
Well, you're actually not. I don't think you're that far off, believe it or not. I mean, if Magic Johnson ever really, really wanted to be an NFL owner, just the same way I say orchestrated, he was part of the deal that bought the Dodgers.
Yep.
I mean, if you would have, it would take somebody of immense popularity who has massive financial backing and has the endorsement of a Jerry Jones and a Robert Kraft, because I've told the story before that when I talked to Jerry Jones in Dallas on the field before the Rams ever moved to LA, the story was Jerry Jones said to me, if Stan Kroenke was not an NFL owner, we'd be recruiting him to become an NFL owner, because that's the kind of guy we want in our fraternity. So right. So think about this. If ever there was a time where all of these white billionaire owners would love to welcome an African-American owner, okay? If you could get somebody like Magic Johnson to lead a group to buy the Chargers, could Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft and Stan Kroenke, could they force Dean Spanos into selling his team? Because guess what? Hey, back room here, fellas. Listen, you know what we really need? We need a black owner. That's what we really need. And having a black owner who's really famous with a big giant smile, who's an LA institution, that's the guy we need. Let's recruit freaking Magic Johnson. In fact, you know what? Better yet, let's all buy the team together. We'll give it to Magic Johnson. That's how much we want Dean Spanos out of this league. And that to the point of the listener who said, please get behind this crusade. That's what the league needs. The league needs to force the Spanoses out of their ownership, but that doesn't mean that they're coming back to San Diego either.